it actually, somehow came out of my mouth ahead of time, unwantedly. That's a trouble. It's really easy. Julie and Hugh, she is really now underway for a divorce, at least finalizing a divorce from Brooke Lay. But the problem is, she is on her soapbox. She could not actually control her feeling. Because when you are so traumatized with this mounting stress and this pressure coming from a tragic event in your private area, then you might actually, burst into tears. You might actually share a little, breakdown or meltdown that might actually somehow reveal the raw feelings unedited to everyone. This type of, a very private moment with other people, unwantedly, because of the, a very troublesome situation one is going through. That's what it is called, a breakdown in English. And I really need to have a, my English is not really bad. Drew Barrymore says that she needs to work out, so she is not in the size of a bus anymore. That means that Drew Barrymore, emphasized, the necessity of going on a diet. To probably, she really needs to, once she had a few pounds, to at least, keep herself in a good shape instead of actually being a bulky lady. Probably you just have a trail of your body and getting a bigger self of yours. Then this could actually be, troublesome, right? But if you ever actually, decide to, just, shed a few pounds, then this would be great. At least, you can brag about the slim silhouette of your luck. No, this is ridiculous. You know what? Those people who can never actually accept my argument, this is really crazy. I have no serious difficulty in terms of understanding the legal concept as well as celebrity gossips. The spectrum itself is a pretty wide and deep enough to cover every base you can ever think of. I'm not lying. It's not really difficult, not at all. Do you know, who Drew Barrymore's mother is? She is really famous in a Goldie Hawn. No, that's a Kate. I'm so sorry. Goldie Hawn is really Kate Hudson. I don't really need to make a fuss about it because I will be a German because in that way you will never going to lift a finger on me. But that's really important. The sanctity of being a German is that what I'm actually looking for a sanctuary city, and that type of fulfillment can be easily met because Germany is really the country that offers such a perfect system for the law. The rule of law. At least what that actually sets down the boundaries for every citizen who is really acting normally in accordance with the Germans' ground law. That's called in a Grundgesetz und yeah, that's a constitution basically. But I have a suspicious doubt that my relatives, those people who are really kind of moronically cursed, would never let me go. Oh no, what? I will actually make this happen. I will find a way into German society for sure. Because, this would be disgusting if I ever actually be oppressed, despite the fact that I would be such a normal person, and I am indeed, not at all, having a difficulty in terms of, acting like an average person, there is no chance that I would be incriminated. No, this type of criminalization should be totally debunked, because if this would be a conspiracy theory that would be peddled by those hardliners or orthodox believers who just really can't accept the truth, because they're really kind of distorted and demented and dotted to imagine a certain illusion that had nothing to do with the reality. They can never actually grow out of this kind of bizarre concept they built up, because they've been actually enjoying the trickling down effects and the benefits. They're actually just no, I'm not lying. Whoa. Johnny Depp is currently accused of assaulting Amber Heard over the alleged James Franco extramarital affair. That means what? Johnny Depp is practically at this moment he's been facing a tough charges pressed upon him. Why? Because he is under suspicion of hurting Amber by using such an brutal violence, relying on and resorting to atrocious brutality to tame her in the wake of the allegations surrounding her extramarital affair with James Franco. I can actually write it down. In light of brewing plot for her affair, James Franco. Mm-hmm. No, I'm not really an AI. I have no difficulty of putting down the. That's a really ridiculous argument. The only reason I was not actually able to see was, the actual brightness of the screen was at its minimum. No, I'm not making an excuse. Let me actually prove it. I can actually do it really quickly. Right now, inside this room, I don't really read a Korean, not at all. But you know what, I can actually, go on a battle against, whatever you actually support. Can I actually do it? I'm going to actually choose, so many things. I'm not calculating. No, I'm not actually lesser than I'm a killer. And let's try to actually pick out anything. For instance, if I ever actually search for anything, like Sarah, I don't really know who a Sarah is. Let me actually type Sarah and what kind of Sarah Silverman is. Sarah Silverman. No, I'm not really. No, that's not true. No one would actually say that my English would actually be limited to Southeast Asian English-speaking countries. I can actually, hire any type of, professional experts who can actually conduct a thorough investigation. The scope and the spectrum of my English is far better to at least overcome the geolocation obstacles. Because I can understand the OJ trial really well. What happened? If you ever actually want me to go over it, there had been a certain type of a gimmick used by the star-studded defense team, who's been actually constantly pushing over this misplaced justice by actually wrongfully collecting the evidence that had never been in the first place placed in that crime scene. That type of a suggestion is really moronic. I'm not lying. I have no reason to be a Filipino because I don't really know about the Philippines culture. No, I have a zero interest in that nature because it's not something that I really wanted to dismiss. The rich heritage and culture endowment of that island country. No, the Philippines. I never actually wanted to say anything bad to them. I mean, these people. I mean, the Filipinos. It's really kind of ridiculous. But I don't really actually want to remember them. Why do I have to? Well, I actually can do it. I really remember American English really well. No, my English is not artificial, not at all. In case you think that I ought to be a non-American implication or allusion, it takes a man and woman. What does that mean? When it comes to the definition of the marriage, according to the many evangelical folks, it takes a man and woman to complete this traditional institution called a marriage. Why? Because there should be no unity between different genders other than a man and woman coupleship. That means, there could be no two men who might actually forge this type of companionship. No. That type of, a mixture, even actually a queer with a transgender, no. This type of, somewhat in a border crossing and chaotic combinations can never be acceptable to be in accordance with the traditional definition and the concept of marriage. Marriage is really the institution that has been old as a tales. It has such a rich foundation in the Christianity. It means, they should actually, have a one man and one woman to, have the very perfect fulfillment of conjugal duty. I'm not lying. In a marital contract per se. No. I just actually remember everything here, but I don't want to actually. It should have never opened up. I didn't really. I know one thing at a time. I kind of forgot that I have to memorize. I have to written that down. No. I'm not lying. I really actually remember everything. No. This time, I had a little accident. I was too carried away by the marriage explanation. I forgot that I had to written that down. I didn't. No, I'm not really an AI. I'm actually more than happy to accept any type of physical contestment than you in actually endorsing. Any type of contenders or competitors you want to endorse and support, bring them on. I really don't mind. I'm actually very happy to accept that one. I just really want it to actually be tested on every subject that you can actually think of. There's law and science and society and films and movie and everything. I don't know. Especially, I really appreciate the personal insinuation and the Cecily talks and the pep talks and or anything. Because, you've been actually greatly dismissing the fact that I'm actually not really a stranger who would be a non to this type of societal customs and conventions. I'm more than happy to have a deep discussion over this type of event, the personal trivias. Where would I ever actually obtain this much knowledge? Every source would it be in conformity with American English newspapers and journals. I'm not lying. Let me actually demonstrate it. So this is really the chance to actually reveal that who's No. I admit that I forgot about what I need to do. Huh? I was actually talking and was really kind of losing my mind. I was kind of absent-minded, you know. I have to admit that, you know, sometimes I lost in my thought to forget what I should do, what I was up to. What are you up to? It was really the question that I have to constantly, you know, ask myself. You know, I have to, excuse me, what are you doing? What are you up to? You know, what's the purpose of doing this? You know, why are you doing this? Do you actually remember what you're doing right now? You know, I have to be engaged with this internal dialogue to remind myself, you know, what I was doing at the time. Otherwise, I would be, you know, thrown off the course and off the rails because I could easily be derailed. Because, you know, I'm such a person who has such a short and attention span. That means, you know, I'm actually quite, you know, suffering from the ADHD, attention deficit disorder, hyperactivity disorder, like this, you know. But let me actually prove it then. What's a really great word? Who would be great movie star of our time? Let me actually think about it. Oh, maybe you actually say what? Jessica. Jessica VL. Sounds really nice, right? Easy in our total recall Valentine. You see, play the trade. What was